Hello and welcome to part 2 of the video for computer programming the gold to silver ratio. And I found it a lot easier to program this without doing any video recording and commentary, and then record on such after it's done. The next one is, so I'm going to explain what I wrote. This way, if you are programming, I can maybe help you with a little bit of language or understanding language for the most part, as well as show the results. So what's different with the code? I had in here this mon count equals 0, XAU, and G was equal to 0 as well. I changed it to 1 in 16, meaning the two participants, one buying half gold, half silver every month, would start with 1 ounce of gold, 16 ounces of silver. And player B also starting with the same amount, but will be buying and selling and holding a lot different using conditions. And the conditions started low because the gold to silver ratio on the first period was around 16. So that's why I have condition equals low. Right below here I have how many loops. This way we can calculate the first 40, the first 580, and so on. And 588 is how many there was for the month ending December 2016. And the run is now equal to 1 to the sum, which you would be getting in here. I've added GSR, gold to silver ratio. It is equal to gold divided by silver. This code is from the previous video, which is the first person buying the silver and gold, and then resetting it after 12. This was just me fooling around. When I was fixing errors earlier on, that code is no longer, it's the same as it was before. I added this in here. This determines whether the conditions need to be changed. So in this case, if the condition is low, then if it is going to be moving into medium or high, I want you to do so. So first relabel the condition and then do what it has to do by going to this array, MEDF. Same with the high array. And if it's medium, does it break out high or low? If so, change the condition variable and do what you have to do. And the same thing on high. Let's go to those conditions now and I'll show you what it does. So if it's going to the medium position, then what it's going to have to do is liquidate all of its holding, 50-50 gold and silver, which means it's going to sell a little bit of one for the other. So what I've done in here is figure mathematical value in cash at the time the silver and gold would be worth, and then putting half of it into gold, half of it into silver. And then that's done. And then when end sub means it goes right back to where it came from. And then this is going to high. So now I'm going to do the same thing and put the value into the cash. And then, well, now I want all of this into silver when it's high and none of it into gold. And then the same is true for when it goes to low. This little thing here to start it, what I do sometimes is I go to start it and then anything in between from here to here, I could put in whatever code that's needed that's technically not going to get in its way and run kind of deal. It's something that I do, one of the things. Anyway, moving on to where I was before. So it's done all of that. So it's changed any conditions. Now it's got to do its buying and selling every month, but this is where it does it here. If the condition is low, then we want the player B's gold is equal to the player's B gold, adding from it from where it was, which is the buy amount, which we did in the previous video, divided by the price of gold. So say the buy amount's 100, the price of gold is 33 1/3, then it would have been 3. Or 1,333, the number would be 3. If it's in medium, it's going to buy half of both in here. And then if it's in high where you're supposed to buy silver, it's going to be buying all of silver. Now the display is going to have two sections. The one before had just this. What I've added is the cash value, which is equal to its gold holdings multiply the price of gold, and the silver holdings multiply its price as well. And then in here, this was player B's level for it. So let's run the program because that's all that is needed. And there's 588 months, which is what we're going to use in here. And this is what we got. The first person would have 33 ounces of gold, 33 and a half almost, and a little over 1,600 ounces of silver for a net value at the end of last year of 65,000. But the person going on buying sometimes gold, sometimes silver, sometimes both, sometimes trading all their gold for silver and vice versa, would at this stage have almost 10,000 ounces of gold, or silver, excuse me, and nothing in gold, but their value would be better than, like 2.5 times better almost, than the person who just didn't care about the gold to silver ratio and just played it very basic. And even this is very basic as well, but we'll say a little more advanced. Let's change the numbers up just to say after just 100, we can see that the person in here was only doing a little bit better. They had both gold and silver at the time. And in this case, it was a little bit of both. And let's now go to another number. Of course, this seems a little off though, so I do have to worry about my computer programming on this one, because there should never be a holding where you have just a little bit more gold than silver. So this is off for sure. I want to figure this out. So maybe there might be a part 3 and trying to figure it out now that I think about it. I was planning on doing 2 parts, so I thought it was working. See, this looks familiar. 3,800 ounces to 60. Okay, that would be fair. How about after just even like 5 lousy periods? Would have gotten the neutral stage by that point. Let's verify that. Period 5. The price of silver is up to $2.50. Gold, let's just do a quick ratio. Actually, this is period 5. See, that's a mistake. If that's the case, that person, that status should have stayed low. Jeez, I can do a third part and figure out my error now. I hate when this happens. Well, not really. This is all part of real computer programming. Because technically speaking, this person should only be buying gold if the ratio is that low. But 16 was where I started that number, so that would be the reason why. Because it never was commanded to sell the change. So maybe this is right. No, this would be right because of it. Okay. So let's run it again, and there's a 16 on the bottom. It hasn't done any command change to sell its gold. It will eventually at some point. Oh man, I was freaked out there for a second. I don't like making mistakes on here. 100 still? Well, technically speaking, as I stated, in order to get to median, it has to get greater than 62.5. So let's just see when it does that for the first time. Probably after 1980. Okay. So we're looking at period 220. It changed. So let's take a look at 219 and 220 then. So 219, it should still have 16 ounces of silver. Yes, it does. But 220, it shouldn't. If my programming is correct, please, please, please work. Bingo, bango, bingo, bango, it didn't switch. And what a difference. All the way up to 983 ounces of gold or silver. That is huge. Great, part 2 of 2 now. So what do we have for time? Just a little over 10 minutes. So I got a few minutes just to talk about the key things about the gold to silver ratio that I would like to. And what that would be is, my situation for plan is closer to the 40 to 30 number. And I really think that in the future, when the whole economic collapse gets into full force and price resets come in and the gold to silver ratio goes way lower, which I think it will, that it will work between maybe 9 and 20, 8 and 20, somewhere in that area, and could even go to par, as the Webbot has stated for like almost a decade now. They've been saying that. And the losing part of the strategy of turning a lot into gold and into silver when the ratios get that high is if the ratios explode. What happens if the ratio goes to 300 to 1? That strategy would lose. What happens if the ratio goes down to 1 or 4 or 6? That strategy would lose again. But if it's not going to, as you can see in here, the gains in which that can happen, basically playing probability odds and by the book and simple mathematics. Well, 65,000 net worth in metals for just buying basically, and 158,000 for doing these simple stages of just knowing what the gold to silver ratio happens to be. Okay, thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.